After watching that clip, what did you take away from it? A lonely middle-aged man reliving the golden days of his youth? Well, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm not here to tug at the warm, fuzzy feelings buried in everyone's memories. Before I get into what this video is actually about, I want you to do something for me. Think of a scene from your past, something vivid, something that stuck. Got it? Somewhere in your head, there's a photograph. Maybe it's you at 5 years old, at the top of a slide in your kindergarten playground. Maybe it's you at 13, riding your bike down that one road during summer break. Maybe it's the first time you ever stood at a podium, knees shaking, trying not to pass out. Okay, now let me ask you something. In that photograph, you can see yourself. There's a good chance you see your own face, your whole body. You see yourself standing right there. But wait, did it ever occur to you that you were looking through your own eyes back then? When you were 5, your field of vision would have been the metal handrails of the slide, the backs of other kids' heads, the sky. There is no way you could have seen your own face. Because in every single second of your life, you have never once seen your own face with your naked eyes. So this photograph, this image you're absolutely convinced is your own memory. Who took it? Today, we're going to track down this cameraman. I'm going to walk through multiple independent lines of evidence, cross-referenced against each other, to get as close to the truth as we possibly can. Exhibit number 1. Freud fired the first shot. Most people don't realize that the first person to notice this bizarre phenomenon was Freud. In 1899, Freud published a paper called Screen Memories. He'd stumbled onto something deeply strange. When people recalled childhood experiences, many of them reported seeing themselves in the scene. That didn't sit right with him. He wrote, "A person sees himself in a recollection as though he were an observer watching an actor. But he was the actor. This indicates that the memory has undergone some form of processing after the fact. In modern terms, this isn't raw footage. This is the director's cut." But Freud didn't have brain scanners. He had no way to prove it. So the discovery was shelved for 84 years. Exhibit number 2. The question that changed everything. In 1983, 2 psychologists, Georgia Nigro and Ulrich Neisser, did something Freud never could. They didn't speculate. They went out and asked. They recruited a large group of participants, had them recall memories from different periods of their lives, and then asked one devastatingly precise question. In this memory, are you seeing it through your own eyes, or are you watching yourself from the outside, like a camera floating in the room? They called the first one a field perspective, the second an observer perspective. And here's what they found. The older the memory, the less you're the person living it, and the more you're a stranger standing off to the side watching. Something that happened yesterday, you can replay it from behind your own eyes. But a memory from 10 years ago, you're almost certainly watching yourself from the outside. Think about what that means. Your brain has been doing something behind your back. It's been taking your first-person lived experience footage and quietly swapping it out for a third-person documentary. And it did it so cleanly that you never even noticed. But knowing what isn't enough. We need to ask why. Why would your brain go to the trouble of faking the camera angle on your own memories? That's what the next piece of evidence is about. Exhibit number 3. Your brain is helping you step out of character. In 2008, psychologists Sutton and Robbins ran a more targeted experiment. They didn't just ask what perspective people used in their memories, they also measured the emotional intensity of each memory, and they found a striking pattern. The more emotionally charged a memory, especially shame, fear, or extreme embarrassment, the more likely it was to flip into third person. Think about your own life. Your most humiliating moment, tripping in front of a crowd, saying the wrong thing and getting laughed at, getting rejected to your face by someone you had feelings for. When you replay those scenes, aren't you almost always watching from the outside? You see yourself standing there, face flushed, frozen, not knowing what to do with your hands. But that's not what you saw at the time. You were staring at the floor. You were looking at other people's faces. You should be seeing the ground. So why did your brain pull the camera out? The answer? Your brain is helping you step out of character. This is a psychological defense mechanism formerly known as self-distancing. When a memory is too painful, too cringe-inducing, too much to bear, your brain runs a quiet little subroutine. It lifts you out of the first-person seat and places you in the audience. It doesn't delete the memory. It does something more elegant than that. It changes your camera angle. Think of it like a film director who decides a close-up shot is too brutal, so they switch to a wide. The scene is still there. The story is still there. But now there's a buffer of distance between you and it. Peggy St. Jacques confirmed this in 2004 using fMRI brain imaging. When people recalled painful experiences in third person, the prefrontal cortex, the region tied to emotional regulation, showed significantly higher activity. In plain English, the third-person perspective is not your memory glitching. It's a filter your brain deliberately switches on to help you process things you can't handle up close. But, and this is where it gets interesting, there's a contradiction. Exhibit number 4. The contradiction. Happy memories go third person too. If third person is just your brain's painkiller, then happy memories shouldn't need it, right? Your childhood birthday party, your whole family singing around a cake, blowing out candles. There's nothing painful about that. But try to recall it. Don't you see yourself sitting in front of that cake? That doesn't add up. In 2002, psychologists Lisa Libby and Richard Eibach uncovered a deeper explanation. They found that when a person feels like the me right now is fundamentally different from the me back then, the brain automatically switches old memories into third person. It's not about emotion. It's not about pain. The key variable is how much distance you feel between your current self and your past self. You recall your 5th birthday party and you don't feel any pain. But that 5-year-old kid, he doesn't really feel like you anymore, does he? The things he cared about, the way he experienced joy, the stuff that mattered to him, that's a person from a completely different world than the one you live in now. So your brain makes a remarkably honest call. Since you're not him anymore, stop pretending you are. Just watch him from the outside. And this is the part that genuinely unsettles me. You probably assumed the perspective shift was a technical issue, degraded brain signals, fuzzy data, corrupted files. No, your brain made a judgment call. It looked at the person you used to be and reached a conclusion. That's not me anymore. And so it pulled the camera out of your eye sockets and mounted it on a tripod across the room. From that point on, you stopped being the main character in your own memory. You became the audience. Exhibit number 5, the final paradox. All right, let's connect every piece of evidence. Freud noticed in 1899, people see themselves in memories when that should be physically impossible. Nigro and Neisser proved in 1983, the older a memory gets, the more likely it shifts to third person. Sutton and Robbins revealed in 2008, emotionally intense memories, especially shame and fear, are the fastest to pull back. Libby and Eibach dug to the bottom in 2002. It's not time that changes the perspective. It's the fact that you've become a different person. Your brain has never believed you're the same person. That's the uncomfortable truth I wanted to tell you today. You think remembering is opening a safe and pulling out the original tape. It's not. Remembering is the current you sitting at an editing desk with a pile of damaged, incomplete footage, cutting together a new film about the person you used to be. You are the impossible cameraman, and you're not making a documentary. You're making a biopic about someone you can barely recognize. Every time you remember, you re-edit. Every time you re-edit, the frame shifts slightly. The color temperature changes. A line of dialogue gets rewritten. An angle tilts a few degrees. You're not remembering the past. You're creating it. But I don't want you to find that terrifying, because once you truly absorb what this means, you gain a strange and extraordinary kind of freedom. If you've been carrying memories so painful that even time hasn't been able to smooth them over, consider this. Your brain has already decided that the person in those memories is someone else. So why are you still shouldering that stranger's guilt, their regret, their pain? And if every act of remembering is an act of re-editing, why not choose an angle that's a little kinder to yourself? Your memories are not ironclad evidence. Your memories are a novel that's being rewritten every time you open it. And you're the one who will always be holding the pen.